In this SQL Interview Questions YouTube video, I will introduce you to the most frequently asked questions on SQL. This video is the perfect guide for you to learn all the concepts related to SQL, Oracle Mississippi SQL Server and MySQL database. Our SQL Interview Questions video is the one-stop resource from where you can boost your interview preparation. It has a set of top 20 questions which an interviewer plans to ask during an interview process. It starts with the basic SQL interview questions and later continues to advanced questions based on your discussions and answers. These SQL interview questions will help you with different expertise levels to reap the maximum benefit from this video. Before I start SQL interview questions and answers session, I request you to subscribe my YouTube channel to latest updates on interview questions and other learning materials.
What is SQL?
SQL stands for Structured Query Language, and it is used to communicate with the database. This is a standard language used to perform tasks such as retrieval, updation, insertion and deletion of data from a database.
What do you mean by DBMS? What are its different types?
A database management system, DBMS, is a software application that interacts with the user, applications and the database itself to capture and analyze data. A DBMS allows a user to interact with the database. The data stored in the database can be modified, retrieved and deleted and can be of any type like strings, numbers, images etc. There are two types of DBMS. First is Relational Database Management System. The data is stored in relations, tables. Example, MySQL. And SQL is Non-Relational Database Management System. There is no concept of relations, tuples and attributes. Example, Mongo.
What are joins in SQL?
A join clause is used to combine rows from two or more tables, based on a related column between them. It is used to merge two tables or retrieve data from there. There are four joins in SQL namely. First is inner join. Second is right join. Third is left join. And fourth is full join.
What is the difference between char and varchar2 data type in SQL?
Both char and varchar2 are used for characters data type, but varchar2 is used for character strings of variable length whereas char is used for strings of fixed length. For example, char 10 can only store 10 characters and will not be able to store a string of any other length, whereas varchar2 10 can store any length, i.e. 6, 8, 2 in this variable.
What is a primary key?
A primary key is a combination of fields which uniquely specify a row. This is a special kind of unique key, and it has implicit not null constraint. It means primary key values cannot be null.
What is a unique key?
A unique key constraint uniquely identified each record in the database. This provides uniqueness for the column or set of columns. A primary key constraint has automatic unique constraint defined on it, but not in the case of unique key. There can be many unique constraint defined per table, but only one primary key constraint defined per table.
What is a foreign key?
A foreign key is one table which can be related to the primary key of another table. Relationship needs to be created between two tables by referencing foreign key with the primary key of another table.
What are constraints in SQL?
Constraints are used to specify the rules concerning data in the table. It can be applied for single or multiple fields in an SQL table during creation of table or after creation using the alter table command. There are 7 types of constraints in SQL. First is not null, restricts null value from being inserted into a column. Second is check, verifies that all values in a field satisfy a condition. Third is default, automatically assigns a default value if no value has been specified for the field. Fourth is unique, ensures unique values to be inserted into the field. Fifth is index, index is a field providing faster retrieval of records. Sixth is primary key, uniquely identifies each record in a table. And last is foreign key, ensures referential integrity for a record in another table.
Explain different types of index.
There are 3 types of index namely. First is unique index. This index does not allow the field to have duplicate values if the column is unique indexed. If a primary key is defined, a unique index can be applied automatically. Second is clustered index. This index reorders the physical order of the table and searches based on the basis of key values. Each table can only have one clustered index. And third is non-clustered index. Non-clustered index does not alter the physical order of the table and maintains a logical order of the data. Each table can have many non-clustered indexes.
What is normalization and what are the advantages of it?
Normalization is the process of organizing data to avoid duplication and redundancy. Some of the advantages are: better database organization, more tables with smaller rows, efficient data access, greater flexibility for queries, quickly find the information, easier to implement security, allows easy modification, reduction of redundant and duplicate data, more compact database, and ensure consistent data after modification.
What is ACID property in a database?
ACID stands for atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability. It is used to ensure that the data transactions are processed reliably in a database system. A for atomicity. Atomicity refers to the transactions that are completely done or failed, where transaction refers to a single logical operation of a data. It means if one part of any transaction fails, the entire transaction fails and the database state is left unchanged. C for consistency. Consistency ensures that the data must meet all of the validation rules. In simple words, you can say that your transaction never leaves the database without completing its state. I for isolation. The main goal of isolation is concurrency control. D for durability. Durability means that if a transaction has been committed, it will occur whatever may come in between, such as power loss, crash, or any sort of error.
What do you mean by trigger in SQL?
Trigger in SQL are a special type of stored procedures that are defined to execute automatically in place or after data modifications. It allows you to execute a batch of code when an insert, update, or any other query is executed against a specific table.
What is SubQuery in SQL?
A subquery is a query inside another query, where a query is defined to retrieve data or information back from the database. In a subquery, the outer query is called as the main query, whereas the inner query is called subquery. Subqueries are always executed first and the result of the subquery is passed on to the main query. It can be nested inside a select, update, or any other query. A subquery can also use any comparison operators such as greater than, less than, or equal to.
What is a relationship and what are they?
Relation or links are between entities that have something to do with each other. Relationships are defined as the connection between the tables in a database. There are 4 types of relationships. First is one-to-one relationship. Second is one-to-many relationship. Third is many-to-one relationship. And fourth is self-referencing relationship.
Why are SQL functions used?
SQL functions are used for the following purposes. First is to perform some calculations on the data. Second is to modify individual data items. Third is to manipulate the output. Fourth is to format dates and numbers. And the last is to convert the data types.
What is the need of merge statement?
This statement allows conditional update or insertion of data into a table. It performs an update if the row exists, or an insert if the row does not exist.
What is clause in SQL?
SQL clause helps to limit the result set by providing a condition to the query. A clause helps to filter the rows from the entire set of records. For example, where, having clause.
What are aggregate and scalar functions?
Aggregate functions are used to evaluate mathematical calculation and returns a single value. These calculations are done from the columns in a table. For example, max, count are calculated with respect to numeric. Scalar functions return a single value based on the input value. For example, ucase, now are calculated with respect to string.
What is the difference between delete and truncate commands?
Delete command is used to remove rows from the table, and where clause can be used for conditional set of parameters. Commit and rollback can be performed after delete statement. Truncate removes all rows from the table. Truncate operation cannot be rolled back.
What are local and global variables and their differences?
Local variables are the variables which can be used or exist inside the function. They are not known to the other functions and those variables cannot be referred or used. Variables can be created whenever that function is called. Global variables are the variables which can be used or exist throughout the program. Same variable declared in global cannot be used in functions. Global variables cannot be created whenever that function is called.